Hello, everybody. In our parsha, we read concerning HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ki Adonai Elohechem, Hu Elohei HaElohim Va'adonai HaAdonim, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibar VaHanorah, God who is beyond anything and is almighty. Asher lo yisaf anim v'lo yikach shochad. You can't bribe him. And Asher lo yisaf anim, he doesn't give any extraordinary or special consideration. There's a famous Gemara that Rav Avira made a drasha based on a pasuk that is most familiar to us from Parshas Naso, and even more so from Birkat Kohanim or Birkat Horim, in which we are told at the end, Yisa Hashem Panav Elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. So Rav Avira darshans in Maseches Brachos on Daf Chaf Amud Beis in the name of Rav Ami and or Rav Asi. How could you on the one hand say in that bracha, Yisa Hashem Panav Elecha, which apparently means he will show you favorable consideration, and on the other hand, our parsha says, Asher lo yisaf anim. It seems to be an inherent contradiction. So the drasha that Rav Avira brought was that this was the very question asked by the Malachei Hasharet of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that there is a stira in your Torah. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu responds to the Malachim, Amar lahem, V'chilo esa panim Yisrael. How can I possibly not show special favor to Am Yisrael? Shekasavti lahem batera v'yachalta v'savata uveirachta. As far as Torah law is concerned, in my command to them in our parsha to recite Birchat Hamazon, that comes as a result of eating and being sated v'yachalta v'savata. And what do? The Jewish people, however, they undertook for themselves, at least rabbinically, an obligation that they should recite Birchat Hamazon even for eating but a kezayit or a kibetza's measure of food, far less than achila kedei sviyah. Now, that's a great answer, but if we think about it, what's HaKadosh Baruch Hu here saying? So the Jewish people were a shtickle machmir. Instead of requiring Birchat Hamazon in a shear of svi'ah, of satiation, even for a kezayit or kibetza, you have to bench. So for that chumrah, we have many, many chumras. What's unique about this chumrah? But just for a chumrah, so therefore God now is going to show special consideration? So truthfully, it's not just the chumrah aspect. What does it mean that a person ate kedei sviyah or kedei kezayit? Today, we are not dependent on our daily bread based on our business and financial activity of that day. Baruch Hashem. People have a certain level of parnasa. They get paid when they get paid. They profit when they profit. And what I eat for dinner on Tuesday night doesn't really connect to how well I did in business on Tuesday. I could have had a lousy business day Tuesday, but for 5 weeks before that, I was raking it in hand over fist. So I have plenty to eat Tuesday night. On the other hand, on a Wednesday, I may have had a very profitable day, but I was so much in debt and so much in arrears in the weeks preceding that I still don't have much in the cupboard with which to feed myself and my family. So when a person ate kedei kezayit or kedei kibetza, that means that that evening at the meal, they didn't have enough to eat. There's room to complain to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I try to be a good Jew. I try to be honest in my business dealings. I try to spend time learning Torah and doing Gemilut Chasadim. And yet I'm struggling with a parnasa. I couldn't bring home enough food to give to my children, and everyone's going to sleep hungry. In that circumstance, one could well understand a Jew who would turn to his Maker in complaint. Why? Don't I deserve more? A Jew who, under those circumstances, can say, yes, I would have wanted more. But Hashem, thank you for what you did give me. It may have been little, but I appreciate it nonetheless. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu acts midah keneged midah. Just like we might have expectations of him, he has expectations of us. And he wants us to keep all of the mitzvot, all Taryag mitzvot, perfectly. And we often owe him. We're not so perfect in our mitzvah observance. God could well turn to us and say, I have a complaint. Why don't you do more? But HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like we with Birchat HaMazon, says, thank you for what you did. I appreciate, even if there's room for improvement and betterment, I appreciate the work that you did in your Avodat Hashem, in your Yirat Shamayim, in your Gemilut Chasadim. Now, if this is true in the relationship between God and man and God, ought it not be the same between man and his fellow man? Bein Adam leChavero. Sometimes people disappoint us, but instead of being focused so much on the negative, what more we feel they ought to have done, perhaps we should be a little generous in our view and see the positive that was done. Shabbat Shalom.